Berry the little snail and Dolly the ladybird play with their forest friends in their happy little world. Dolly the ladybird and Berry the little snail, always fun games to play, always a brand new tale. Berry and Dolly say, what will we learn today?
Alfonso's Fiddle. One autumn day, Alfonso the cricket stood happily playing his fiddle in the mushroom field. The forest friends were all enjoying the lovely music. The little ants were playing football on the hill. But oh dear, the ball bounced away and knocked the fiddle clean out of Alfonso's hands. Alfonso shouted in horror, "My fiddle! My fiddle's broken!" And then he burst into tears. He was sobbing so loudly that everyone came to see what the fuss was all about. Alfonso pointed angrily at the spotty ball. That ball is to blame, and those naughty ants. Where am I going to get a fiddle from now?" He picked his broken fiddle up, went into his house and slammed the door shut behind him. Alfonso, come out. I'm sure we can help you," Berry pleaded. But Alfonso didn't want to see anybody. His friends sat sadly in the mushroom field and didn't know what to do. Then Dolly had an idea. "I know. Let's make Alfonso a new fiddle." "Yes, let's make a new fiddle," Flutter the butterfly nodded. "I know who can help us. We have to find Charlie the click beetle. He made Alfonso's first fiddle." The band of friends set off and walked until they reached a blue house. They knocked on the door. A tiny, timid beetle popped his head out. He wore a blue hat and had beautiful dark blue wings. "Who are you?" he asked. Dolly told Charlie the whole story. "Oh, don't be sad. If that's your problem, I'm happy to help. Alfonso will be playing music on his new fiddle in no time at all." The click beetle gave everybody a job to do. Some collected wood for the body of the fiddle, while others gathered grass for the strings. Now he had everything he needed. Charlie got to work. He sawed, sanded, polished and waxed. And then, like a little miracle, the new fiddle was ready. "Can I try it?" Dolly asked. "No, it's Alfonso's instrument," Flutter told her. "But I want to have my own musical instrument," Dolly sulked. Me too, the little ants shouted. "Quiet," said Charlie. "Why don't you all start an orchestra? A great big orchestra. Like a music band? And everybody could have their own instrument? That's a very good idea." The first thing they made was a harp for Dolly. Stanley the stag beetle got a double bass, and Eddie the potato beetle had a cello. Berry made a trumpet out of a lily. Morris the maybug made a horn from a honeysuckle flower. The big spider used horse chestnuts and acorns for drums, whilst Zephyr and Leapy made cymbals out of pebbles. Charlie carved flutes from birch twigs for the ants. Flutter the butterfly got a lute, and Balthazar the bee got a zither. Bubble the baby beetle played a triangle. They all had a quick practice and then headed for Alfonso's house. Alfonso heard the music and looked out of his window to see where it was coming from. He was surprised by what he saw. "Please, Alfonso," the little ant began, "don't be mad at us for breaking your fiddle. We'd like you to have this new one as a present. Charlie made it." Alfonso began to play straight away, and the sound of his fiddle filled the forest once more. Berry and Dolly say, what will we learn today?
Harry Hedgehog's birthday. One summer morning, Berry the Snail, Dolly the Ladybird and their forest friends were playing in the meadow. They were taking turns on the leaf swing. It must be so much fun to play on that swing. It's a shame I'm too heavy for it, Harry Hedgehog sighed. His friends didn't know what to say. It's Harry Hedgehog's 10th birthday next week, the Ladybird said. He'll be 10 years old, the little snail nodded. What do you think he'd like for his birthday? I know, Balthazar exclaimed and jumped to his feet. A swing! That's a super idea. Let's make a big swing for Harry, Dolly said enthusiastically. The little friends got to work immediately. They brought a saw, a hammer, nails and screws and searched for some strong branches. They tied the swing to thick wooden poles with very strong string. When the swing was ready, they all went to Balthazar's house to bake a cake. They cracked eggs and stirred the butter. The mixer whirred away and wooden spoons clattered in bowls. The little bee's kitchen was soon filled with delicious smells. They decorated the cake all over with cherries, raisins and walnuts. Let's put candles on it, Flutter said. Yes, 10 candles, Dolly nodded. Let's write a letter to Harry, Berry said. Dear Harry, please come to Balthazar's house at lunchtime. We'll all see you there. Can you take it to Harry, please? Berry asked. But don't say a word about the cake and the swing, Dolly shouted after him. Balthazar and Stanley put the cake on a round table and carried it out of the house. The little ants were playing hide and seek, and suddenly the smallest ant ran right into the table. You tipped the table over! The cake's ruined! Balthazar moaned. The cake! What are we going to do now? Dolly sobbed. Harry Hedgehog will be here any minute and he won't have a cake. The little ants felt very sorry for what they'd done, but one of them had an idea. Let's gather lots of fruit and berries and build a big pile. It'll be almost like a cake, won't it? That's a good idea, Stanley said. I know Harry loves fruit. Berry, Dolly, Balthazar, Stanley and the little ants began to gather fruit in the forest. Eddie the potato beetle, Zephyr the dragonfly and Rosita the rose beetle helped them too. They soon had a very big pile indeed. Stanley stuck 10 candles on top of the fruit, just seconds before Bubble arrived with Harry Hedgehog. Happy birthday, Harry! They all shouted. Wow, look at all that delicious fruit, my favourite. Thank you very much, the hedgehog exclaimed. We've got a surprise for you, Dolly said, and they led Harry to the swing. Harry was very surprised. What a big swing! Can I use it? He asked cheerfully. Yes, we built it for you. Hooray! Now I can swing too! Thank you so much! Then they stood around the fruit pile and began to eat. They ate and ate until nearly all the fruit was gone. They stuck the leftover apples and pears on Harry's spikes, and he took them home to his mossy house. Harry went to bed with a happy smile and looked forward to tomorrow, when he'd swing with his friends again. Berry and Dolly say, what will we learn today? Bad dream. It was a stormy night and Berry the little snail was getting ready to go to sleep. He brushed his teeth and jumped into bed. He soon heard a strange noise outside. I suppose it's just the wind. Then he heard the noise again. What could that be? He popped his slippers on and opened the door, but couldn't see a soul. "I must be imagining things," he said, and slipped back into bed. But then someone knocked again. "Who is that?" Berry grumbled. He threw the door open and stared outside. "Grub, come inside. You're so tiny that I didn't see you. What's wrong?" "I had a bad dream. Can I stay with you for the night?" the grub said. "Of course you can stay." Berry set to work folding a cardboard box into a bed for the grub. "There you go. You can sleep here." "And what can I use for a blanket?" "My hat should do the trick." "It's just like a sleeping bag." "That's good, grub. Now get some sleep. I'm very tired." Berry was just dropping off to sleep when the green grub spoke. "Can I have the light on, Berry? I'm scared in the dark." "The moon's so bright in the sky tonight. There's nothing to be afraid of. Now try and get some sleep." "But it's dark," the grub went on. "It's not dark. It is dark." "Oh, all right. I'll open the curtains and you'll be able to see the moon. The stars are twinkling too. Now let's sleep," Berry complained. The little snail pulled his blanket up to his nose and he was soon fast asleep. But the green grub woke him up again. "I'm thirsty." "Then have a drink, grub," Berry barked. "I can't reach. Please help me, Berry. I only want a drop of water." "Thank you. Sleep well." And Berry would have slept well if the green grub hadn't woken him up again. "I'm hungry now." "It's too late to eat. We'll have breakfast in the morning." "But I'm hungry. I've had no supper because of the storm," the grub complained. "Thank you. I won't disturb you again," the green grub promised. But he didn't keep his promise. "Berry, I can't get to sleep. I'm scared," he said and woke the little snail up again. "What are you scared of?" Berry asked with an exhausted yawn. "I don't know. Please tell me a story. That always sends me off to sleep." "All right, I will. I'll never be able to get to sleep now anyway." Berry started to tell the tiny grub a story. He told him about the day the kite flew away, how they found the mushroom's cap, how Dr. Owl cured his earache, and what the centipede got for Christmas. But the grub hardly heard any of it because he was soon sound asleep. Berry could at last get to bed. By the time they woke, the storm had passed and the sun was shining. "Can you see that picture by my bed? Sometimes I have bad dreams too, and when I do, I think of that fairy. She helps chase all the nasty thoughts and bad dreams away. I'll draw you a picture of something you really like and you can stick it over your bed. Then if you feel sad, you can look at it and you'll soon feel better and the bad dream will float away." "The sun. Draw me a picture of the sun. I really like him. He's always smiling." "It's really nice. Thank you," said the grub. "Stick it on your wall over your bed," Berry said. The grub took the picture with a smile and walked happily home.